Next, we're going to turn our attention to the if function, which is arguably considered the most commonly used function in Excel because it has so many applications across so many different industries, and most notably within financial modeling as well. The if function is used heavily if you're trying to accomplish any kind of financial modeling exercise. And that is why having a strong understanding of how it works, how it's applied, and what kind of results it is able to accomplish is absolutely critical. So what is the if function? The if function is basically a logic test that returns a specified value based on a specified condition. Before I actually get into the exercise below, it's worthwhile discussing what some of these signs mean. So this sign that we have here represents greater than. So if you're looking to find a value greater than specified value within Excel, this is kind of the character that you would use to accomplish that. Here we have the less than sign. So if you wanted to find a particular value less than a specified condition, you would use that. Equals to, obviously, is the equals to sign that we have used throughout many of the exercises or any kind of calculation that we've done so far. You will use the same equals to sign to find any value equal to a specified condition. The greater than or equal to. So for example, if you're looking for a value greater than or equal to a specified value, then you would use the greater than sign and the equal sign together. And the same goes for less than or equal to. You will use the less than sign and the equal sign together to achieve that result. So once we have a general understanding of these characters and what they mean, and high level what the if function does, we can start looking at the example we have below. So in the example below, we have a series of employee numbers representing employees at an organization. And we have a list of modules that they're expected to complete. So there's about 12 modules here that each employee is expected to complete. And once the module is completed by the employee, they receive a 1, indicating that they've passed, or they receive a 0, indicating that they failed or they did not meet the minimum requirements of the module. The minimum requirement overall of these 12 modules, the minimum requirement is to pass 7 of them satisfactorily. And the exercise requires us to determine which employees have passed the requirement to complete the minimum number of training modules, which is once again 7 over here. So right now we need to first calculate how many modules have been adequately completed by each employee out of the 12 that they were assigned. And once again, the simplest way to do that is by utilizing the sum function. And once again, I'm going to do my shortcut for the sum function, which is alt equals. As soon as I do alt equals, it will automatically identify the range that I'm trying to sum, which in this case is horizontal. And Excel does that by recognizing that there are numbers within that range that I'm probably looking to sum. And in this case, Excel is doing exactly what I want. So I'm going to hit Control and Enter. So for the first employee, it seems that they've properly completed 5 of the training modules assigned to them. And I'm going to replicate and copy down the formula for the rest of the employees by doing Control and D. So that populates the rest of the kind of the cells for me. Now what I need to figure out is ultimately whether the minimum requirement for each employee was met or not. And to accomplish that, I'll be using the if function. So I'll start with, again, equals to if, and I'll open my bracket. So here are the arguments within the if function. The first one is, what is my logical test? Kind of what's the condition that I want Excel to run the calculation upon? In this case, I'm trying to figure out simply whether each one of these employees met the minimum requirement of 7 courses that they have to complete. So of course, all I'm going to do is look at the number of courses that have been completed and figure out if this is greater than or equal to the minimum requirement over here, which is 7 courses. And once again, I will lock in my minimum requirement. I will anchor it using F4 because I don't want it to move around as I move down with my calculation. So the next part of this function is value if true. And that just means if this requirement is met, if the employee has met at least 7 satisfactorily completed courses, what is the value that you want to display here? Then the value if true could be yes. And because yes is text, and whenever we have text, we need to put it in quotation marks, I'm going to do exactly that. So I'm going to put yes in quotation marks, like so. And then I'm going to put, next up, the next part of this argument is value if false. So Excel is asking me, what value do you want to show up if that condition is not met? And in this case, it would be no in quotation marks with a capital N. Because simply what I'm trying to say is if the employee has met all the training modules properly, then the completed column should say yes. But otherwise, if they haven't, then it should say no. So once I have set up properly, I can hit Control and Enter. So obviously for the first employee, you'll see that it says no because they've only completed 5 courses, whereas the requirement is 7. And now I can copy this formula down, and I'll automatically have kind of a good understanding of which employees have completed their courses and which haven't. One additional step that I can take here is to conditionally format this column so that it's easier for me to see which employees have actually passed the requirement. So once again, the shortcut for conditional formatting is Alt-HL. So we'll open up the dialog box for me. And I can simply go into highlight cell rules. I can go H, so highlight cell rules opens up for me. And I want to select a specified value based on which Excel would color these cells so that it's easier for me to identify which employees have completed the course and which employees haven't. So I would move my way down to equal to, which is over here. I could simply also do E. So then Excel asks me format cells that are equal to. So Excel is asking me if, for example, your cells are equal to yes or no. What do you want the formatting to be? So for cells that are equal to no, let's say, we want them to have a light red fill with a dark red text, and you'll automatically start seeing kind of a preview of what that's going to look like. Looks okay to me. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to hit OK. Same thing applies for the yes. I could simply go into conditional formatting, do Alt-HL, go to my highlight cell rules with H and equal to with E. And then I now want to format my cells that are equal to yes. But at this time, I'd like to format them with a nice green color, which I can select from the drop-down available to me here. So I would select green fill with dark green text, hit enter on that. So automatically Excel will give me a sample of what that will look like. And then I will ultimately, finally, as my last step, I will hit OK. And there you have it. So now we went from really not knowing which employees had completed the modules that they were required to complete. We summed them up, included something meaningful, kind of a meaningful result telling us whether they completed it or not. Whereas what we've done here is simply converted those results into a simple yes and no, which is easier to analyze and look at. And then on top of that, we've added a bit of custom formatting, which makes it even quicker and even easier to understand and evaluate the results that we have here.